يا هلا 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 حن قلبي على جمعة الخير هلا حن قلبي على جمعة الخير هلا يا هلا ويا هلا ويا هلا ويا هلا يا هلا ويا هلا ويا.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh and welcome to Let's Talk. We start off by saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillah ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Great to have you with us in the studio this Saturday morning. It's the middle of the long weekend, and of course we know lots of our viewers are perhaps on holiday. You're away at the coast, the Berg, or wherever it is that you're taking things real nice and easy. So we here at Let's Talk have decided that it's going to be a very laid-back show today. But having said that, we'll start off the first segment on a slightly serious note. We have a doctor in studio with us, but she's going to talk to us about alternative healing. She is Raisa Hassan, Dr. Raisa Hassan, and she's going to talk to us about Unani medicine. The next segment is going to be by a poet, an artist, and a blogger. I'm excited to hear what she's going to be talking to us about today. And for those of you who are in that line of work, photography, art, blogging, etc., let's hear what her journey's been like, and perhaps there's good news for you to also go into that field. And then our final segment will truly be laid back. We're going to have a nasheed artist in the studio. His name is Rashid Beka. Yes, that's right. He is the famous Zain Beka's son. He's going to talk about his life journey with us and also sing a couple of nazms in the studio. So I'm really, really excited. And I do hope you're going to keep me company this morning on Let's Talk. And don't forget, as always, our studio lines are open on 011 086 7777. And that means if you call in and share a comment or ask a question or just call in to say hi, you stand in line to win a prize, that being a sweet hamper from Broadway Sweets or a hair care hamper, an Amca hair care hamper from Amla. So all of that coming up in the program this morning. Do stay with us and do keep us company. But over to our first guest for the morning, the lovely Dr. Raisa Hassan. Assalamu alaikum, welcome to the program.
Walaikum salam, thank you for having me.
Okay, great to have you in the studio, and we're going to talk about alternative healing. We're going to be talking Unani medicine. Now, I often wonder why people follow the path in life that they do. What was it that made you decide, Raisa, to go and study Unani medicine?
I've been exposed to complementary medicine as a kid. The greatest inspiration was my granddad, and within my family directly, my parents always tried to go alternative medicines like your regular, your Dutch medicines, your honey, your ginger, for all of those to ease those symptoms. So in grade 11, I wasn't feeling too good, and my dad suggested, let's go to a natural doctor. And it was a natural Unani practitioner. On the wall, there was UWC, Unani medicines offered here, and I took that route and I started feeling better, and the amount of strength which I gained and the recovery was so quick, so I just wanted to help people in that way.
The path to Unani medicine, for people watching us this morning, for youngsters not quite sure what they'd like to do with their lives post-matric, what subjects do you need to have to study Unani medicine?
It is a BSc, okay, and then you do an extra specialization of the type of natural medicine which you want. You want to focus on your English, your mathematics, your science subjects, biology, physics. That's the basis of any BSc degree. And with that, that will allow you and open up the doorways into natural medicine or whatever you want to achieve in the health field.
Certain people are skeptical about complementary or alternative healing. How do you respond to that?
It's a process of educating the community and gaining their trust. What I find with Unani medicine is that I work with explaining and helping people understand themselves, and that is my doorway into their hearts and into them to open up to what I have to offer. It's quite a difficult process because people are so used to a quick fix. There is no quick fix to well-being, health, and balance. Those three ideas are basically ideals that we think we can buy over the counter. But there's nothing in a pill form that you can get to feel completely total, healthy, and well. It is a process which I'm here today to basically describe Unani medicine and how it can change your life and empower you as a unique individual.
Now, if I talk to a healthcare practitioner about any issue, in fact, on Wednesday we spoke to a lady who talks about the natural way of managing your menstrual cycle, and also the natural way of falling pregnant. She's also an alternative practitioner, and she emphasized on diet and lifestyle.
Yes.
And I know lots of people, even your allopathic doctors, stress on diet and lifestyle. It seems that everything hinges on diet and lifestyle, does it not?
It definitely does work that way, because your lifestyle is what leads to your fulfilling, functional, healthy life experience. I'm going to keep going back to Unani medicine because that is something that I have applied to my life, and I experience great health and well-being from that. And I try and apply it from the kitchen to going to bed at night. What time am I sleeping or waking up? How am I breathing? Am I moving enough? Okay, so looking at the lifestyle factors which Unani medicine has to offer, we're looking at the types of food that you eat that will cause balance or imbalance. We're looking at the air that you're breathing. Do you smoke? Are you exposing yourself to air-conditioned air? We're looking at your emotional well-being. Are you upset all the time? Are you eating on an angry stomach? Are you going to the loo often enough? Are you basically moving enough, eating enough, sleeping enough, not eating enough? So we look at all of those things and we try and balance and design a lifestyle. As a Unani practitioner, we design a lifestyle in all of those 6 areas to help you feel complete and well. So that is why I would like to say that we don't buy it in a pill over the counter. It takes effort, it takes work, and that increases your self-worth. With Unani medicine, what I've discovered is you empower yourself by understanding yourself, because we work with the uniqueness of your temperament, for example. The temperament basically is who you are, your personality traits, your character, your emotional state and stuff like that, which is innate, what you are born with. Then we have the humours. Your humours are your vital liquids, which are affected by your lifestyle that you lead. Your humours are those liquids within your body that you nourishing your blood, you're nourishing your organs, your tissues, and right down to a cellular level. So that is all of your vital liquids. So we work with balancing your temperament, your personality, and your vital liquids. So once you get the balance between those two, you will get your natural well-being and that health. So it's quite a process, but it's attainable with the correct guidance from a Unani practitioner, and also your understanding and getting to know yourself well.
So I'm thinking that if I consult with someone like yourself,
Yes.
that initial consultation is going to be a long one, because you're going to be taking down detailed history from me about who I am, what I'm all about. I wouldn't know the type of, you spoke about humus. I wouldn't know, about all of those liquids, etc. How would you find all that out?
We do that by merely observation. Because while studying, you learn to become more aware of who you are dealing with, the texture of your patient's skin, their body frame. Are they like lean, or are they overweight because of what they're eating? I can tell that just from looking at a person. Just by feeling your hand, I would know, are you excessively dry? Have you got enough moisture? The color of your tongue, the color of your eyes, the way that you walk, your stance. So it's like an entire observation and diagnosis which occurs from the minute that I meet you. So the consultation, yes, like Hippocrates says, that it's more important to know the type of person that you're dealing with than to understand the dis-ease that they're feeling. Because once you get to know the person, you get to understand what they are inclined to being uncomfortable with. So basically this entire diagnosis with the Unani and alternative medicine happens like in a split second, and we are trained to observe and work with that.
Wow. Okay, I'm talking to Dr. Raisa Hassan. We're talking Unani medicine. If you have any questions or comments, we're happy to take your call. The open line is 011 086 7777. And if you call in, you could win a prize, a Broadway Suite hamper or an Amla hair care hamper. But still to come in the program, we have lots more interesting things coming your way. But first, an ad break. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the program. If you've just tuned in now, we're talking to Dr. Raisa Hassan. She is a Unani practitioner and we're talking alternative health. So if you'd like to call in with a question or a comment, we're happy to take your calls on 011 086 7777. Raisa, back to you. Now, what sort of conditions do you treat? You know, if someone wants to consult with you, what are the typical conditions that they'd come to you for? Is it your common colds and flus and headaches, insomnia, etc.? Or do you also treat the more serious stuff like heart problems and diabetes, etc.?
Okay. I would firstly like to point out that we are innately born, alhamdulillah, with a physis. Physis is a process, a mechanism which regulates your body systems. For example, like I was saying earlier on, if it's a hot day, you sweat, your body tries to cool you down. So when it comes to your heart conditions, every condition, I look at it as dis-ease instead of a disease and giving it a name. So without labeling that with my personal treatment, I'm looking at where are you imbalanced. There's something within the mix of everything about you. Something that would stand out that, okay, you have a heart condition. I look at everything, applying the emotional imbalance. Are you heartbroken about something? Are you stressing yourself out about something? Then I would look and chat to you and get to know you as a person and break it down from that level. We can, as Unani practitioners, treat and help and assist your natural innate, what Allah has given you. We assist that process, make it a bit easier to ease you out of that condition and balance you humorally with your body fluids and balance your temperament.
Would you also tell your patients what to eat and what not to eat, depending on the type of personalities they are?
Most definitely, that plays a huge role in your lifestyle because your food is your communication directly with your body. You are directing your body as to how to digest, what to do with your food. Your emotions while you're eating a plate of food. Are you stressed out? Are you arguing with someone? Are you sitting in a busy, bustling restaurant, or are you calm and centered? It's all about communication with your body. It is an awareness of who you are. And as a Unani practitioner, to answer your question, I would take on any condition and assist in the best way that I can and help people understand themselves.
So you help treat the person. How long would the typical treatment last, number one? And number two, do you dispense medication as well? And what type of medication would this be?
We use a variety of medicines. We are not bound to only using TIB products or other therapies. That's what a natural doctor would do. We take the best of every type of natural medicine and we apply that to the situation. Conditions, I couldn't say that we specialize in a specific type of condition. We send patients over, we refer them to other doctors for intense infection control. That is when you neglect yourself to a point where you cannot, your physis, your natural doctor within cannot manage your infection, and we need some serious antibiotics. Yes, that would definitely call for a referral. But I personally would use, there's a host of antibiotics which can help with bronchitis, can help with your constant constipation. There's lots of things that natural medicine has to offer, and we are not bound with a specific brand or a product. We use natural, complete herbal sources.
Okay, autumn is around the corner and we know what that means. Sniffles and coughs and colds and even the dreaded flu. What should people be doing from now to stave off all those nasties in their lives? Because it's miserable. It's miserable to have the flu and you normally come down with 2 or 3 bouts during the winter season. So how do we start building up to protect ourselves against that? Before you respond to that, let's take a call. Assalamu alaikum to you and welcome to the show.
Alaikum salam. I'm phoning from Cape Town.
Shukran for your call. Who am I speaking to, brother?
You're speaking with the Shaheed. I just want to ask you about asthma. I'm using your detective medicine, but it's also chronic asthmatic for the past 20 years. I'm using the topic pump and the Ventolin. But I've also got high blood pressure now. Sometimes I get a headache and I can't take a look at aspirin because of my asthma again. So is there anything you recommend for asthmatic?
Okay.
Sorry.
Carry on.
Yeah, because I'm using your medicine, but it is what we call it's just like a reliever to me, and I must use my pumps and my stops there.
Okay, just hold. Don't go away, please, brother. The doctor might want to ask you a question or two. Would you like to respond?
Yes, I can. Firstly, I'd like to say don't stop using your Astavent, your asthma pumps, because that is to help release and open up your lungs immediately. What Unani medicine has to offer is we've got some cupping therapy, which really helps with elimination and improves circulation to your lungs. So you're taking that oxygen from and focusing it on over your lung area. You would need a Unani practitioner to work with that. We have a Unani Medicine Center in Cape Town. You're welcome to go there and they would definitely help you. Cupping therapy is the best for asthma.
All right, brother, thank you. Can you continue listening on air, please, if you don't mind? Shukran for your call. Shukran. And
where is in Cape Town? Is it, can I look in the phone over there?
It's in Surrey Estate. Sarki Bartman.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Shukran for your call, and you will be receiving one of the prizes this morning. Back to you. The brother raised an issue around asthma, and I was going to ask you about smokers. You know, they, very especially in winter, they have this persistent cough. The caller also spoke about high blood pressure.
Yes.
So you suggested cupping for the chest. And what about high blood pressure? Is cupping the preferred remedy if anything serious comes up?
Cupping plays a vital role in your in assisting your body to well-being, because cupping allows us to eliminate that excess humours that we're talking about, because we need to get rid of the humours, any toxins and stuff like that. So cupping would basically draw the toxins to a specific point, let us know if there's any stagnation, if there's a lack of oxygen within your body, and we eliminate that completely immediately. With asthma patients, it is obvious to any practitioner, you will see it immediately, whether they need wet cupping or dry cupping. Either way, cupping improves the circulation, and it is a beautiful therapy and remedy to help assist your condition.
Okay, you need to explain what is cupping.
Cupping is basically a therapy that we use. You place some cups over your skin in a place of discomfort. For example, you've got a stiff neck. We place the cup over there. That means that your muscle is kind of like there's some stagnation. Okay, that's what your body lets you know. Your body is communicating with you each time. You place the cup on, and the cupping basically draws the circulation with from 4 layers deep within your body and brings that blood up to the surface to basically move and improve that circulation like a vacuum cleaner on your skin. That's how cupping works. So we keep the cup on for a few minutes, and that indicates whether you need wet cupping or dry cupping. If you need wet cupping, the practitioner will have a look at it and immediately prick your skin lightly. It's not really painful, and eliminate and get rid of the excess toxins which have accumulated. Once that is done, you have just removed the junk from your blood vessels, from your circulation, and your body immediately starts pumping healthy, fresh blood to begin healing your body
that
once again.
specific area.
Yes.
You talk about eliminating toxins. About how much of those toxins are drawn from the body? And I'm wondering about pain factor. And I know that pain differs from person to person.
Yes.
People have different tolerance levels.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the discomfort or the pain factor when you're cupping?
Cupping, the most you would feel is just like a light pinch on your skin. Elimination, your body lets us know. Your body guides us. We are just assisting your body. So your body lets us know where you need some wet cupping. It's a light scratch on your skin, and that eliminates. And your body, mind you, your body is amazing. It eliminates exactly what it needs. You will not bleed to death unless you're cutting really deep and like a surgeon.
Right.
But basically, you notice that, and you keep applying you scratch the skin lightly, place a cup on to help keep the suction going. And once that is done, your body eliminates. Your body naturally stops eliminating.
When it has to. How many sessions does one have to have before you feel that you are now better or you've overcome this particular condition?
Depending on the condition you have, that's how many sessions you would need. We would need to have a look at you and assess your situation.
Okay, we've almost come to the end of the show, but very quickly, like I mentioned earlier on, autumn's around the corner, those sniffles, coughs and colds, and those horrible scratchy throats. What's the best remedy? Please help.
The best remedy, it's the obvious stuff, because with autumn here, autumn is the best time. Your body naturally detoxes. So you will get the allergies coming up and stuff like that. You want to stay away, because the temperature is cooling down, you want to stay away from things from the fridge, your yogurts, your ice creams, ice cold stuff, iced water, which is not really good. You want to incorporate your ginger and honey in the mornings. You can add some turmeric to that to keep the heat up.
In warm water, in a mug of warm water.
In a mug of warm water. And basically that would help build your immunity. You want to stock up on your oranges, your vitamin C. You can do little things like that. But yeah, there is.
Can you overdo it with the honey and ginger and turmeric? Can you kind of have 3 or 4 mugs of those a day? Would that do any harm?
Everything in moderation.
Okay.
I would suggest starting off with like 1 mug in the morning and maybe a mug of that combination before you're going to bed. Don't overdo it with any, even if it's natural, everything in moderation.
And finally, for a persistent cough, would the honey and ginger work on that as well, or is there something else you'd treat a persistent cough with?
Honey, ginger would work, but like I mentioned the other day on the radio, you want to beat your ginger down. You want to...
All right, can I ask you to hold it, because we have run out of time and we do have a caller, so let's take that quickly. Assalamu alaikum to you. Welcome to the show.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Salma.
Salma, welcome.
I just wanted to find out about the cupping. Can anyone do cupping?
I'm sure there's a specific art to it. So what's your response to Salma?
Salma, you can do cupping. Your Unani practitioners have been trained to identify whether you qualify and whether it's safe enough for you to experience capping. There's certain conditions which we don't cap over. You've just got to be careful, but it works really well.
What are those conditions?
Your varicose veins, depending on your age, if you're over 75, we've got to be more careful of how we cap, the suction pressure because of your body. You can cap people from like 11 years old onwards. You can cap your little kids as well with asthma and stuff. It works beautiful with kids and stuff like that.
So completely safe and natural.
Most definitely.
Salma, I hope that answers your question. Thank you for calling in, and of course you are going to be receiving a hamper with compliments from us here at ITV, so shukran very much indeed. Your closing thoughts for our viewers today?
The idea of health and well-being is not unattainable. We have been blessed with Pisces. It is an innate doctor within us. We've just got to be aware and know how to work our bodies. Unani medicine, that it offers us a system of medicine, balancing your lifestyle and understanding yourself. It's an empowering feeling, and for myself as a doctor, as a natural healer, I find I'm humbled to the greater power that actually created this entire system that we work with, to observe the great power and the transformation of a human body. It is most fulfilling.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much for being with us. We certainly enjoyed you on the show. And then that, of course, means that we've got to go for our next ad break. I do hope that you enjoyed this segment of the show on Unani medicine. Welcome back to the second segment of Let's Talk, and our guest is Saleha Bamji. She's a writer, she's a poet, she's a photographer, and she's a blogger. But before we talk to her, I'd like to remind you that our 2 hampers have been given away. But if you'd like to call in to share a question or comment with us, we're happy to take your calls. And we do have something for you. We have 2 books to give away. Confessions of a Dad by Azur Laher, or you could stand in line to win a Bullyproof, a book written by Gail Dorr. So call in, we'd love to hear from you, and we'd also love to give you a prize. So do keep us company this Saturday morning. But let's introduce our next guest and let's get talking to her. Assalamu alaikum, Saleha, welcome to the show.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure entirely. Now I must tell you, I find it unusual to come across a lady, a Muslim lady in our community, being not only a writer, but a poet, a photographer, and a blogger. It's unusual. Our girls don't normally follow that path. What made you take this path in life?
I think all writers start off as readers, and I've always been a voracious reader. As a child, I would be reading all the time. On the table while I'm eating, I would read while I was watching TV, while I was listening to the radio. It was like a running joke in my family that I'd always have a book in my hand. And I think it's a bit of a natural progression as a reader to like enjoy reading stories, to want to tell your own stories. And I think that's what it is about me. It's wanting to be a natural storyteller. And that kind of carries across in my writing, in my photography as well, because that's another form of storytelling. Okay. It's another kind of narrative. So the choices I made in my career kind of have led up to this point. I studied marketing in advertising with the hope of becoming a copywriter to tell the stories of products. But at the end of my 3rd year, I kind of thought that I would be better suited to a career in journalism. And that's when I did an honours in journalism to tell people stories. And I worked as a journalist for a short period of time. And then I joined a media training agency where I picked up a host of skills: design, writing, editing.
Wow.
So the whole spectrum.
Yes.
And then after that, I started freelancing. And about 6 years ago, I picked up the photography. And about
did that happen by chance, or did you have to go on a course?
It kind of happened by chance. My husband's a photographer, so my first camera was his DSLR that he handed down to me. And I used to take pictures every day and just play around with settings, learn how to read the light, to take a good picture, to figure out how I wanted the picture to look. What story did I want the picture to tell? And I've been doing that for the past 6 years. So I've been doing client work as well as my own personal photographic projects. And about 2 years ago, I finished a master's degree in creative writing. So I came back to the other storytelling aspect.
Okay, we're going to talk about the photography in a bit, but
Sure.
let's talk about your writing. Have you published any of your works?
I have. They haven't been published in a sort of full-length form. I'm working on a manuscript this year. What I have published are poems and short stories in local literary anthologies, as well as in the Writivism anthology, which was a competition about 2 years back, an Africa-wide competition. We all submitted short stories, and my story went on to win the first prize.
I believe so. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What was your story about?
It was a bit of a morbid story, really. The theme of it was about infertility. It's a woman who's struggling with having a child, and one day she looks, she's experiencing problems with her husband because of this. So he leaves her to cool off a bit, to decide how she wants things to proceed, and she finds solace in swimming. And one night when she's out swimming, she finds a drowned child in her pool, and this child is sort of like a turning point for her, because she sort of takes this child into the house with her, and she kind of feels like this child is hers now, because she's obviously in a mental state about her infertility, her inability to carry children. So this child sort of becomes a symbol for her. And then the story is just sort of like this little incident and how it switches things over in her mind.
Now, when we talk writing and we talk about this prize that you got, was this, did they call for submissions throughout Africa, or was it just a South African competition?
It was a continent-wide competition. So they've got entries from Nigeria, all over South Africa. I mean, all over Africa.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Gee whiz, what a feather in your cap. I do hope that you go on to bigger and better things as well. We're talking photography, poetry, blogging, and writing, obviously. Can one put food on the table following this path? And I guess you're one of the fortunate ones,
Yeah.
because you're doing what you're passionate about. And if you're passionate about something, you really do the best.
Yes.
You really shine in that area. And but that being said, is one able to sustain oneself with this type of work?
Certainly with photography, you can sustain yourself if you work as a full-time professional photographer, and you're quite consistent in booking jobs and putting yourself out there, being very aggressive in your marketing. Yes, you could certainly earn a good living from photography. I'm lucky in the sense that I'm not the single income in our household, so I have the benefit of being able to explore these other avenues. We all know writers don't make a lot of money, especially in South Africa. And honestly, I don't think you write for the money. Sometimes you don't even write for the publishing kudos, because it's your writing is your art, it's your way of expression. So sometimes I feel it's more important that you just get down and write, as opposed to trying to push the work out there. Although it's great because you want people to be reading your stuff, but I sometimes feel that shouldn't be the end goal, really.
Now, when you call yourself a writer, and you do say that you're busy working on your manuscript,
Sure.
which means that there's a book
Yes.
at the end of the tunnel. How soon is that going to happen? And can you tell us a little bit about this book?
If you speak to any writer, they always have a sort of a project in the pipeline, and this book is that for me. I'm actually still at draft stages. I don't like talking about projects too much, because what happens is it kind of like dilutes my own excitement for the project. What I can tell you is that it is based in Johannesburg, and it's sort of my main character's a teenage girl, sort of like a coming of age story, who's experienced a personal tragedy, and she herself has the challenge of having I haven't decided whether she's completely autistic or if she just has Asperger's syndrome.
Okay.
But it's a theme that I think will be a challenge for me, because I want to write the book in a way that's authentic, and not just as someone from the outside, kind of just like writing a story. So there's going to be a lot of research. So I'm still sort of at that research stage.
Exactly. Writing is not as simple as that. You
No.
can be as creative as you could be, but obviously if you're publishing, and like you spoke about an autistic girl, there's lots of research that goes
Yes.
into it as well. Who verifies the research then that goes into the book?
Well, I would have to talk to psychologists, I think, just write out passages and probably send it to a few of my friends who are in the field and ask them, like, does this sound right? Is this what someone with this syndrome would say or do? Would they act in this way? So I think that's one of the ways. Or maybe send it out to a few people to read, or, you know, people who have experience in the field.
Okay, so let's talk about your poetry. Do you have a book of poetry? If I now, after this interview, would like to read some of your poetry and understand who you are and what are you all about, where would I find all of this?
I do post poetry on my blog. If you click under, well, there's a poetry category and you'll be able to find some of the writings. And I do post links to other online publications that have included my poetry on their sites.
Okay, let's hold that thought. We have to pay the rent, so that means an ad break, but also a reminder that our lines are open, 011-086-7777. Let's hear your thoughts. Keep us company this Saturday morning. It is the Easter long weekend, so we're taking it a bit easy here. The show is a bit laid back, but I'm sure you're enjoying it as much as we're enjoying our fabulous guests in the studio today. And if you call in, our 2 hampers have been taken up already, but you could stand a chance to win one of 2 books, Confessions of a Dad by Azar Laher, or Bully Proof, the book on bullying by Gail Dorr. So all of that in the show this morning. Do keep us company, but the ad break first. Welcome back. Thank you for allowing us into your homes this morning. I'm having a wonderful time with my 2 amazing guests. The first one was Dr. Raisa. Raisa was a Unani practitioner telling us about her work. This time around we have the beautiful Saliha Bamji. She's a poet, a writer, a blogger and a photographer. And as I've said, it's kind of unusual in our community, isn't it? But she's here to give us inspiration, and to all those young people out there who perhaps dreamt of being writers or poets or bloggers or even photographers. There's hope out there. She's here to share her inspirational story with us. Back to you, and we spoke about poetry, and you've also said to me off camera just now that you don't make money out of poetry. You do it for the love of it. It's about you, your very being, your essence, and what you want to put out into the world. So that being said, share one of your favorite poems with us and tell us why it's your favorite.
All right, I'm going to be reading by heart.
Okay.
By heart. As a child, I learned things off by heart. Private angels worked under the skin of my chest, scratching prompts on pulsing tissue. In the afternoons, in the afternoons at madrasa, I prayed with sounds from engraved organs repeating after the Maulana Arabic letters, starting their lives in different parts of my throat. Don't mix them up, he said. You could be saying dog instead of heart. The meanings of other things he did not teach, crafting for us sacred chants only God would understand. As an adult, I had to look again to my heart, the places in my throat, the angels left, their tools scattered blindly. I bent to pick one up.
Okay, that's beautiful. I want you to explain to us what it really means for you and why is that so close to your heart. But before we do continue with this beautiful guest of mine, Saliha Idris Bamji, we do have a call online. Assalamu alaikum to you.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The poem that your guest said, I said, it's beautiful, alhamdulillah. I didn't want her to stop reading. I want to know, will she give us a detail of her blog? I would like to obviously go onto the blog and sort of, read her poems and her work and stuff like that.
Of course, she's going to share that information with us. And what's your name, sister?
Tasneem.
Tasneem, thank you so much for calling in. We do appreciate it. And you've now just stood in line to win one of our book giveaways this morning. Please leave your details with the production team and we will be in touch with you in due course. But thank you indeed. Are you enjoying the programs on ITV?
I actually love it. To be honest with you, I hardly used to tune on to ITV and accidentally I did. And I think I've kind of diarized it mentally every Saturday to sort of okay, I need to be up and watch this program at so and so time. So I must say I'm really, really enjoying it. And you have such diverse topics and you have interesting guests. Even your last week guest, that bully-proof the writer, I thought, oh my God, it's like she was talking to me. I wanted to pick up the phone and call, but I think it was just issues with the phone line I had, so I couldn't call you. But it was awesome. I must say, keep up the good topics that you have. And the sister who's writing her poems, keep up the good work. May Allah continue giving you abundance of creative flow so that you can enrich us with your writing.
Ameen, Ameen, Thumma Ameen. Shukran very much for those amazing words from you. And you definitely will be getting a book soon, inshallah. And keep watching ITV. Shukran for the call. Saliha, back to you. Why that particular poem was chosen by you to read this morning?
I think this would be a poem that resonates with a lot of people because it highlights the challenge we have with faith sometimes. You know, when we go to, I remember madrasa days where they kind of taught you by rote.
Yes.
Where you just repeated things and you didn't really understand. Like, we were never taught the Arabic meanings really in
I identify
madrasa, right?
with that. I know exactly
and then you
what
meet
you're
Arab
saying.
people and they're like, you can read Arabic, but how can you not speak the language?
And
you know?
understand what you're
And understand
reading.
what you're saying. And I think as you're growing up, sometimes there's a bit of a disconnect where you feel separated from what you're reading and the rituals of Salah and things like that. And it's only as you get older and you sort of, I feel you actually come back to your faith in a way. And for me, that's what this poem is about. It's thinking about that journey of learning as a Muslim, reciting, learning Quran, like learning how to pronounce it properly. Like instead of saying qalb and qalb, you know, the dog in the heart. Like you know, you'd approach the Quran with such. How could I mean, it's a sacred, it's the book,
reverence.
you know, with reverence,
Yes.
and you'd be so uncertain and afraid, you know, and it's only when you get older and you understand more that sort of how can I say, that veil that's over the Quran gets like lifted away. And for me, this poem was about going back to that, about
And
going
appreciate
back to
the full beauty
of what that was.
Exactly,
you know?
yes.
Yeah.
Any other favorites, and why would they have been favorites? Have you, for example, dedicated a poem to your husband?
Oh, I have actually. For our second, I think it was a second or third wedding anniversary,
Right.
I collected the poems that I'd written about him, and
How did he respond to it?
Oh, he just kind of smiled. You know, he's very encouraging of my writing. I'd say he's one of my greatest supporters. But I don't actually think he reads my writing. He's not a big reader.
Right.
But yeah, I've written poems about him. In fact, one of them was published in a South African journal. I think it was called To My Husband, and it was a whole poem about aspects of his character that I admire and things like that.
What a compliment to pay to
Yes,
your better
yes.
half.
Sure.
I think that's amazing. Let's talk about your blogging. You're a writer, you write poetry as well. Why would you blog? Why is it necessary to blog? And you also indicated to me that you don't make any money out of it because there's no adverts on your blog.
So I first started blogging in 2005. So that was kind of before this. Currently, there's a bit of a blogging boom, I think, with fiction blogs and things like that. So in 2005, the online community in South Africa was still kind of small, very niche, very cliquey. And the reason why I started blogging was because I thought it would be a way for me to keep writing. Because what happens with me as a writer, I'm also the world's greatest procrastinator.
Aren't we all?
So I need a push. I need people to
Yes.
tell me to write. The blog for me was that it was an outlet, and it wasn't only fiction. It was kind of like a mix of things. It would be like personal experiences, which I would write up in an interesting way. Sometimes I would put up poetry and things like that, humorous bits of things that I would write. But over the years, the blog has sort of progressed. It's less personal now because everyone's now shifted to Facebook and Twitter and all these other platforms. And now it's more like an online portfolio of my work. You mentioned making money off blogs. Some people do make money off their blogs where they'll have ads or sponsored posts and things like that. I try and keep that off because for me, the blog is more showcase. It's not really a way, it's not an income stream for me. No.
Okay, we've almost come to the end of the show, this part of the show, and we'll have to say goodbye to you in a minute or two. But the important message to young people watching us this morning, tell them how to follow their dreams. What was it that inspired you? And for people thinking, I'm not going to make any money out of it, it's my passion, but what's the point? I'm not going to be able to put bread on the table. What's your message to them?
I think you have to make space for art in your life. Artists, for me, are the documenters of humanity. Art is what gets left behind. It's what future generations will look back to. So it's almost like you have to be an artist to leave something behind. So what you would do is find a balance, make time for art, but obviously pursue the things that are going to keep you fed and sheltered and all of that. And don't really feel... I can give an example from my own writing. Like, there will be days where you will get acceptances and people wanting to publish your work, and there will be times where you'll send poems through and the magazine will decline and say, this does not fit with our vision for this issue or whatever. I would say don't feel discouraged at that kind of feedback. It only makes you stronger. Always go back to your writing, edit, relook. I've had poems that were declined, that were then edited and then accepted. So it's a constant journey. I think that's the journey. If you're going to stay on the journey, you've got to be prepared for the challenges. And just remember that this is what you're giving to the world.
Absolutely.
And just put it out
it's
there.
almost a legacy you're leaving behind.
Yeah.
Are you planning on having a photographic exhibition at some stage?
I would love to. I just sort of need to figure out a theme that would...
Well,
cover
keep
that.
us in the loop. We certainly will try and cover it. But thank you indeed for being with us. It's time for us to wrap up. Our pleasure having hosted you on the show this morning, and all the very best on your book. We do hope that you will keep us in mind when it's being published so we can talk about it right here on Let's Talk.
Jazakallah khair.
That was Saliha Idris Bamji talking to us about her work, her life's work, her passion, her poetry, her writing, her blogging and her photography. Very inspirational. And for you youngsters out there watching this morning, follow your dreams. Let's take an ad break. Welcome back. It's the final segment on the show this morning, and I did say that it's really very laid back this morning because it's the long weekend. Everyone's taking it really nice and easy, and we've decided to do exactly that in the studio this morning. We have a very young, good-looking guy in the studio with us, Rashid Bika, the son of the famous Zain Bika, the singer, and I think he's charting a space for himself in that line of work. He's been singing with his father for quite a while. He's also sang with Cat Stevens, better known to us as the Muslim community as Yusuf Islam. Now, isn't that something absolutely amazing? Well, he's here in studio with me. We're going to introduce him. Inshallah, we'll also be taking a listen to one of his songs, and then we'll talk about the young man and the career path he's chosen for himself. Rashid, salamu alaikum, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me on the show today.
My pleasure entirely. You've been named after your grandfather, haven't you?
Yes, I have. I have his name, so hopefully my grandmother always says I should live up to even half of his standard.
Inshallah. You're the son of the famous Zain Bika, that amazing singer, but you seem to be following in his path as well.
Yeah, look, my dad, from a very young age, he's always pushed me into my own direction and kind of hasn't molded me, but obviously being with him and performing on stage, it kind of made me into who I am today. So yeah, I have gotten a very big influence from him, and I'm really grateful for that. And yeah, hopefully, inshallah, I can get into that line of work as well, and kind of let the world hear what I have to say.
I mean, and I'd add to that and say that we as a Muslim community are that much richer for having someone like you in our community, inshallah.
Exactly.
What we're going to do is take a listen to one of your songs that you have actually recorded, and thereafter we'll talk some more to you. So, inshallah, over to your first song.
Sizameni ukwenza ngokuhle sizaziphilela lo mhlaba. Make sizameni ukwenza ngokuhle sizaziphilela lo mhlaba.
Lady beats a man minute, be some minute going by. There ain't nothing in it, someday soon we gonna die. Cause from the beginning, at the start of our lives, God decides, God decides. Tick-tock and stop the clock. Never know when you gotta go. Never know when it's gonna stop. Pop up and then you drop. Your countdown begins since before you were born. Don't let a moment slip by that you regret when you're gone. Losing 80 beats per minute, 400 for the song. Tomorrow isn't a promise, this life ain't really long. The one that's coming after is the one that truly matters. Wait, stop. Missing the beat, drawing the heat. Gotta conspire to change your life or it's the fire you eat. Cause time is but a token, every man's at a loss. Don't matter if you're young or old, you never know what you got. So with every living, breathing, beating moment that you give, and turn attention to the one who grants your heart permission before your clock stops ticking. 80 beats a minute going by. There ain't nothing in it, someday soon we gonna die. Cause from the beginning, at the start of our lives, God decides, God decides. 80 beats a minute going by. There ain't nothing in it, someday soon we gonna die. Cause from the beginning, at the start of our lives, God decides, God decides. 4,800 an hour, 100,000 a day. There's 42 million per annum, man, you ain't got time to play. Cause praying is what pays when investing in heaven. Drop the cocaine and the clubs and the vices of Satan. Yes, he is the one that diverts you, yeah. Until you visit the grave, then realize a life of virtue. So seize the day, make it count, make a change. Believe in Allah, his angels, books, the last day, the greatest of man. All the prophets who came until Muhammad the last, peace be upon him, we say. Predestination, the plan, penned by God's almighty hand. Heaven awaits those who contemplate and understand, yeah. 80 beats a minute going by. There ain't nothing in it, someday soon we gonna die. Cause from the beginning, at the start of our lives, God decides, God decides. 80 beats a minute going by. There ain't nothing in it, someday soon we gonna die. Cause from the beginning, at the start of our lives, God decides, God decides.
That was a track from the album, and that track is called Heartbeat. Now, is this guy cool or what? Isn't he amazing? I'm so pleased we have him in the studio this morning with us. If you'd like to call him, if you have any questions or comments for him, please do call in on 011 086 7777, and in the process, win yourself a prize, inshallah. We are talking to Rashid Bika, the son of Zain Bika, the singer, and he is a singer in his own right, as we've just seen and heard a minute or two ago. And time permitting, inshallah, we might just take a listen to another track from this album. It's called Broken. So Rashid, back to you. That was beautiful. Very heartbreaking,
yes,
a very
yes,
sad song, a very disturbing song.
Yes.
But I guess a very important message that needs to go out to youngsters and to people in general. How did that come about?
Well, how that song came about is, after the age of 14, I started rapping. So my father and I, we obviously wanted to write songs that really people can relate to, and songs that have a good message and tells the youth, because I think rap or hip hop and R&B is kind of the language of the youth. So we wanted to use that as a medium to obviously portray and just give good messages across without and obviously creating an alternative for the other stuff that's obviously out there,
and for Muslim youth in general.
Definitely. So how the song came about is we have a lot of producers around the globe, and we obviously just had this idea of a clock ticking down, which is essentially what all of our lives are, a clock ticking down until the day of judgment, until you obviously you have to go to the next life. So how the song came about is we actually wrote the lyrics, my dad and I, and once that was done, we sent it to our producers, and then the song came about, and then we shot the video, and inshallah, yeah, it's doing quite well.
How have people responded to not only the song, but the type of work that you've put out?
I think people are slowly coming to like it, but some people still find it. I don't know exactly how they find it, but some people still kind of have an issue on whether it's good or bad. But I think if you putting a good message out there, I don't think it's something bad. That obviously
it was sad. It was a sad song.
Yes, it was a very
and
sad
it's
song.
our reality today, not only in South
Definitely.
Africa but all over the world.
Yes,
so
yes.
you are, singing about relevant stuff, and I think that's
Yes.
very, very important.
Yeah.
Now, how old were you when you started singing with your dad? And it's fine. People may say, "Oh, well, his dad is a singer, so it's
Yes.
he automatically would follow in his dad's
Yes,
footsteps." But not necessarily. If you don't have the talent, it wouldn't happen. You clearly have the talent, alhamdulillah. So you are able to follow in your dad's footsteps.
Yes, well, I mean, I started singing when I was about about 8 or 9 years old. I was on Yusuf Islam's, Cat Stevens at the time, I Look, I See album. And songs like Your Mother, Mans in Islam. So, like growing up as a child, I was kind of growing up with the nasheeds as well, like with my father. So my father would write these songs whilst he would teach me as well. So I'd be learning and growing up whilst music and nasheed was around me. Which was
did you ever
cool.
resist it, or did you have a very natural affinity to your dad and his work, his passion? And his passion obviously is the singing.
Definitely. No, I think growing up around an a nasheed singer and icon, it obviously does have a lot of influence, and I think if I chose anything else, my dad would also be fine with it. But I think he did enjoy that I kind of took the sales as well, and
So you're following in his footsteps, and may you have as much success as your dad.
Inshallah.
Any other family members doing the same thing?
Not really. I mean, my brother, he does sing as well. One of my dad's songs that him and my dad perform together is called Forever. It's a very like father and son kind of song. It's very cute. But I mean, not really. Nobody else really sings in the family. I mean, my younger brothers do as well. Some of my cousins as well. But I don't think they really want to go that route.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are you at in your life right now? Singing clearly is your passion.
Yes.
But you have to be doing other stuff as well.
Yes, no, of course.
What is the other stuff?
Yeah, no. I mean, my father always said you shouldn't be a singer full time, because I mean, it's more of a hobby, of a passion. So I mean, you need to obviously have a balance and stuff. So I actually studied cinematography. Mm-hmm. So that's camera work and shooting music videos and movies. I was actually on set recently with Maher Zain. I don't know if anyone knows Maher Zain, a famous nasheed singer as well.
Uh-huh.
I was on set on 2 of his music videos that he shot in Cape Town. So that's also one of my big passions. I like to tell stories visually. So I'm the director of photography. So I shoot a lot of videos, commercials, short stories, whatever, here and there.
Who are the other artists that you performed with, apart from the world-renowned Cat Stevens or Yusuf Islam?
Well, I performed with a lot of amazing artists from France, from the US. I performed with Khalil Ismail. He's one of our close, connects to writing and collaborating, and just in terms of lyrics and stuff, we obviously go to him because he's a fantastic rapper. And people like Khalid Balrouzi, an amazing Arabic and French singer. And it's just obviously in this line of work, you meet a lot of upcoming artists as well. But I think meeting and obviously traveling with my dad, it's allowed me to meet fantastic and amazing people all over the world, which I'm really grateful for.
How big is the demand for this type of music around the world in Muslim communities, or do you even break the barriers and go beyond the Muslim community?
I think it's all about spreading a good message, and I think if you obviously have things to tell the world and that's relevant to other people's lives, not only yourselves but other people's lives as well, I think you can kind of go beyond that. If people share the same beliefs and the same kind of views that you have, I think you can definitely go beyond that and beyond the Muslim nasheed industry kind of, or what people call it, the nasheed industry. So I think you can definitely go past that. But there is a big demand because I think people want to create an alternative from what other stuff is obviously out there. So, yeah.
Are we supporting you, we as a Muslim community, are we supporting you to create that alternative, which is the right alternative for our children? We don't want them caught up in Western style and Western influences.
Yes, of course. No, I think people do really appreciate it. I mean, definitely whenever people hear about me and then I come on stage, the youth really appreciate it a lot more, because I think the youth are inspired when they see another young person up on stage. My dad always says that, you know, youth should push one another.
Absolutely.
And should
lift each other up.
Of course.
All right, let's just hold that thought. Okay. Let's take another call. Assalamu alaikum to you and welcome.
Wa alaikum salam. This is Khushida Khan from Botswana.
Oh, welcome, welcome.
I just want to say I simply love your show.
Thank you.
And everyone else you have over. It's been such a fantastic experience. I've learned so much. And also, this morning I needed to know about asthma, and it was addressed. And the question for Rashid is whether he'd be willing to come to Botswana to do a show. Wow. I have met with his dad, Zane, wonderful person, so humble. I can see the same thing in Rashid, and I am so, what can I say, what is the word? He's such an inspiration to the youth, and I love working with children and inspiring and motivating young people. So it's wonderful to see someone at this age doing everything possible to promote Islam and motivate.
Jazakallah, thank you so much.
Jazakallah.
Thank you indeed for a brilliant call. We do appreciate it. Those are the type of messages we need to hear on air to inspire our young people. So shukran for that. Let's take an ad break, and when we get back, we will be hearing another track of Rashid's songs, and that one is called Broken. Thereafter, we'll continue the interview, but stay with us right up until the end of the show, inshallah. Look at me. Welcome back, and we're into the last 7 minutes of the show, so I don't think we're going to be able to play out another Rashid, unfortunately. Time doesn't permit, but the next time we have Rashid in studio with us, we'll try and take a listen to several of his tracks. So welcome back. We do hope you're enjoying the show thus far, and over to you, Rashid. Will you take up our caller and perhaps go and perform in Botswana?
I think definitely. I mean, I haven't been to Botswana. It would definitely be a really good experience, and hopefully I can string my dad into it as well. But yeah, no, I would really consider it, of course.
I know you're absolutely passionate about singing. What inspires you? What does it take to move you to that point where you start writing and singing?
Of course, you know, it is a very tough question, but I think personal experiences, meeting different people. I know for me, one of my creative processes is whenever I'm on tour or when I'm traveling with my dad, I find that's when I write the most, because you often have so much time on your hands when you kind of just in the hotel or when you're in the tour bus or whatever. So it just, I don't know, it just sparks, and that's when you kind of meet different people and you kind of hear all of their knowledge, and you kind of hear all of their experiences about what happened, and sometimes it just inspires you to write a song. And
you've written a song about drug addiction or drug use.
Yes.
What inspired you to write that song, and what is, obviously the song is about drug addiction, but what is it that really, you know, got the creative juices flowing for you on that particular song?
Well, I think drugs is a very universal thing that everyone faces.
Problem.
Very. So in terms of how it came about, there was actually a story on the news that me and my dad that we were reading, and it was about this boy that just overdosed on drugs. So it is a very sad reality, but it is obviously a reality that we need to kind of come to terms with, and we need to obviously voice our opinions. So we obviously started writing the song. I was 14 at the time when I performed it for the first time, and yeah, we got involved with different nasheed artists and kind of got their input as well. One of our good friends from Native Deen, Abdul Malik. So from there, it kind of just happened, and then we just released the song, and it did well. A lot of people were kind of happy that we released the song like that, so that we're putting awareness out there. And yeah, it's one of the first songs that I actually started rapping as well. So it was nice.
How old were you when you started singing, your real full big song?
Well, I performed on stage in the Royal Albert Hall with Yusuf Islam, Cat Stevens, when I was 9 years old. Okay. So I was 9 years old.
Did you realize at the time just what a big name he was internationally, or is still?
I think when I was younger, I didn't really grasp, that. But I think afterwards, after I met him, and he's a very, very nice person, very humble, and I learned a lot from him. So once I met him, then I kind of started researching about him, and then I found out that this guy is actually like a big musical icon, which kind of was really amazing that I got to work with him. So I was really appreciative of that.
Where to for you from here? You've said to me that you're busy working on your album.
Yes.
It's how long down the line before it's released?
Well, it's been a really long process. I've been busy as well with my dad. But in terms of the album, we really want to release it either in May, the ending of May before Ramadan, or after Ramadan as well. It's going to be a very short. It's called an EP. It's just it's about 7 or 8 songs, and yeah, hopefully the people that listen to the album will share the same views that I have.
Tell us about some of the songs that will appear on that album.
Well, most of the songs are very socially conscious issues about things that happen in the world, and a lot of them, some of them are very personal. Like I wrote a song for my mom and for my sister. So some of them are obviously really personal, but others is just songs about believing in yourself, about everyday problems that the youth face, about confusion, about all of these constant changes in the world. So it's just about socially conscious issues that people that are my age or around about the same age can kind of relate to, basically.
You're a young man, you're about 23 years old.
Yes.
You obviously went through the same angst and dilemmas and worries and anxieties that young people go through. Do you think your journey into singing perhaps protected you from all the hardships, or probably protected you from maybe going out and experimenting in all of the wrong things?
No, definitely. I think the youth, not only for me, but I think time is the biggest issue for some of the youth, because generally when you have a lot of time, you kind of invest it in sometimes the wrong things, which isn't necessarily good. I know for me, I play a lot of sports, I play a lot of soccer. So generally most of my time is either playing soccer or working on music or shooting music videos and stuff like that. So I think time is the biggest thing that all youth suffer with. It's if you have too much time, you obviously get caught up with your bad company, and then it just leads on from that. So I think music has definitely helped me stay away from that kind of environment, but also just having strong, grounded rules and kind of, good structure, of course. Definitely.
Foundation, and definitely. Alhamdulillah for all of that. Well, all I can say to you then is we make lots of dua for you, and that your message, your very, very pertinent message to the youth, reaches all of the youth, inshallah. And may it make, inshallah, a difference in everyone's lives. Definitely. And may Allah bless you with good health and long life to continue Ameen. Touching our lives. Ameen. Your final message to our viewers for today.
I think being young, we kind of really caught up in today's society and we just caught up in this world, but we need to actually realize that it's not about this. It's really not about this life. you can do your best, and you must, and you actually should do your best, and you should make sure that you're doing it. You obviously making a difference in other people's lives. You're giving charity, and you should always follow your dreams, like all of the other speakers before me. You should definitely go for what you wanted to do, and you should. You should just
follow your heart and make a difference. And the important thing, obviously, is touching people's lives in a positive and a definite way, inshallah. And on that note, then, let us share our thought of the day with you. The words of Maya Angelou. I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. The beautiful words of Maya Angelou brings us to the end of the show today. A big thank you to my production team, everyone here at Let's Talk. So till Wednesday morning at the same time as always, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and Khuda Hafiz from me, Julie Alli, and the Let's Talk team.
هلو يا هلو يا هلو يا هلا حن قلبي على جمعة الخير هلا حن قلبي على جمعة الخير هلا يا هلو يا هلو يا هلو يا هلا يا هلو يا